I've been struggling, and I don't feel like I should have to ask my ex-husband for money.
1,700 might be too high, even though that's guideline support. What would you be asking the court to set support at?
Overtime is not guaranteed nor always offered. I'm currently working the overtime when it's allowed, so that way I can compensate for paying for the medical and paying for child support.
We're requesting a final order today. I think parties are in agreement that the source of the medical insurance has changed from Miss Miller's employment to Mr. Stegel. The prior order was a deviation by agreement. However, the insurance would be the material and substantial change we need to go forward today. The state's calculated that guideline child support based on Mr. Stegel's income for two children and no other children will be $1,707. I believe, and that's giving him credit for $580 spent on health insurance each month. Um, I I believe Mr. Stegel is asking the court to deviate from that. And as far as any arrears on the case, child support as of April 30th, 2024 is in zero arrears. Medical support is $23 in arrears, and dental support is $196.81 in arrears.
All right. And there was an order for super modification of child support and confirmed arrears back in December of 2019. This is the order that is controlling at this time?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, then the court will take judicial notice of the 2019 order in accordance with the Texas Family Code. My understanding is that, well, first off, I understand that the state is saying that y'all were in agreement to deviation from guideline child support back in 2019. Under Texas law, that is mandatory to remain in effect for a minimum of 3 years. That order is more than 3 years old, so the court can, in and of itself, at this time, look at a modification based on a change of circumstances or anything else, because again, it's more than 3 years old, and deviation from guideline is only locked in for that time frame also. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and let the state call you both as witnesses. Let the state let y'all tell the court why what you're requesting we do here today, and Mr. Stegel, tell the court why you feel that a deviation is appropriate in your case. You've sat through a few of these hearings today already, listening to them. You see what the standard is. I've got to have a legal reason, sir. I just can't do it based on the claim of hardship or anything along those lines. I've got to hear what the specific circumstances are and whether or not they come up to the criteria of allowing me to do so. And sir, if you want to go ahead and do like the last gentleman, see about run this by a lawyer before you come in here and make this a final, I'll let you tell the court that if you want to do that, and I can always just do a temporary order and let you come back and speak with your own counsel.
In the prior order, you were covering insurance through your employer, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And at this time, you're in agreement with Mr. Stegel covering the insurance costs for the children?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. As far as child support, are you requesting a deviation today as well, or just guideline support?
So I think what they're asking is a little too high, but I do agree that I should get more money because I've been struggling doing this on my.
Okay.
All right, okay, bro, I'm sorry, I hate to interrupt. All right, ma'am. Jordan turns 18 in August.
Yes, in August.
All right, so child support for her would end, and she's graduating this year, correct?
Yes.
So that means child support for her ends after the first day of August. That would be the last child support payment at that time, and then it would go down to having just one child still left. And I'll have the state tell you what those figures are, and you can see whether or not what you might want to do one way or the other. But again, guideline is guideline, so I'll let the state tell you what those two amounts are. One for the next 3 months, and then finally the one that would start on September 1st with the one child still under 18 and still in high school. Thank you. Or still in school, sorry.
Ms. Miller, those amounts, the guideline support calculated currently would be $1,707. And once Jordan turns 18, it would go down to $1,366.
Okay.
And as far as the prior order, you had agreed to a deviation from guideline child support of $966 to $540. And the reasons given in the order were because additional periods of possession were occurring, and also Mr. Stegel was paying for sports programs at that time. Is he still doing those things?
So none of the kids play sports. Jolynn, our youngest, is in a band, and we have split the instrument. We split that. We split. That's. I feel like lately I've had to ask him for more money because I've been struggling, and I don't feel like I should have to ask my ex-husband for money. It's just not something that I feel comfortable doing.
If
And
you,
I don't agree with the 750 anymore. Like inflation, everything. Like, I mean, I've dealt with that for quite a while.
Okay, here's the deal, ma'am. You're still cracking up a little bit on us, but here's the deal. You don't have to agree to anything, ma'am. The law says the percentages are the percentages, and if you request the court to order the percentage, the percentages that are due for the two children and then the one child, the burden of proof falls on Mr. Stegel why the court should do something different, not on you at the request it, okay?
Okay.
All right, you might want to try to go outside now, because again, you're still not getting a great signal. Thank you. I hope it's not storming out there already, so you know.
No, it's not. It's bright, but
Okay, that sounds a lot better now. Thank you. Maybe the witness and server.
I guess because you stated that you think that the 1,700 might be too high, even though that's guideline support. What would you be asking the court to set support at?
Ms. Hubbard, it's only another 3 months on that. I would be, okay, yeah, I would do it. I would,
I guess,
but yeah, that's 3 months worth of, so yeah. Go ahead, ma'am. Is there an amount you're requesting?
the 1,300 like that I was supposed to pay for just my one kid.
So you would request that child support be modified today to the $1,366 and just continue going forward until Jolynn is graduated or until we come back to court to modify?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any other factors you think the court needs to consider today?
No.
Okay. Now, there was a note on here that you are concerned about your address or phone number being included in this order. Is that true?
No. So we did have issues in the past when we were together and when we first split up, when we first had the order, but we co-parent and there's those.
So,
yeah, we got a loud connection. But I'm understanding this, ma'am, you have no problem with your information going to Mr. Stegel now, right?
No.
Okay, good enough. All right, thank you. You may proceed, Ms. Hubbard.
Your Honor, that's it. I pass the witness.
All right, Ms. Miller, we'll be right back to you. I'm going to go ahead and let the state call Mr. Stegel at this time. You may proceed, Ms. Hubbard.
And Your Honor, just on a comfort point, Ms. Miller, if you want to step inside while I'm talking to Mr. Stegel, so long as you can hear us, that way you can be in the air conditioning.
Okay, thank you.
The state would like to call Jeremy Stegel. Sir, will you state your name for the record?
Jeremy Douglas Stegel.
And sir, are you in agreement with carrying the medical insurance for the children?
Ma'am, I volunteered to take on that responsibility.
Okay, I asked a yes or no question. Are you in agreement with carrying the medical insurance for the children?
Yes.
And that's through your work?
Yes.
And you are in agreement with covering the children on your wife's dental insurance, is that correct?
That is correct.
And the cost for the medical insurance is $580, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that just the children's portion, or is that everyone?
That's me and my spouse and my kids.
Okay. What would it cost for just your coverage?
So it doesn't, I work federal government, so I got federal insurance. It doesn't change. I can have 7 kids on there or 3 kids. It's the same. So it's.
Is there a cost when it's just you on the insurance?
$80.
Okay. And what's the cost if it was spouse only? Like you and spouse only, no children?
Same as with kids.
Okay. And it's just these 2 children covered, no other children on there?
No, I'm still covering my son too till he's 26.
And that's the son Landon in this order?
Correct. Federal government allows me to cover my children until 26 years of age.
Okay. And for your wife's dental insurance, the cost for that is, where did it go? $156?
A month, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And who all does that cover?
All three of my children and me and her, and then her two sons.
Okay. 3 children, 2 others, and then, all right. Do you know if it would cost her anything if it was just her on the insurance?
It's like $17.
And does she have a separate spousal only cost? Like you, like her and you just only on there? Would it cost a different amount?
No, our insurances don't work that way. Either you have dependents or you don't.
Okay. And hers is it like yours with the unlimited dependents? Doesn't matter how many you have, same cost?
That's correct, ma'am. She's also employed through same company as me on Fort Cavazos.
Okay. And as far as where you're employed, has your employment changed from the prior order?
As far as what, ma'am?
Are you still working for the same place as you were in the end of 2019?
Oh, yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Operations Maintenance Division.
Okay. And since then, has your
Slightly, a little bit. Yes, ma'am.
would it surprise you to hear that it's doubled?
Well, when I had spoke to the attorney, general assistant, or whoever the coordinator was prior to seeing y'all today, she said that my overtime was being included. Overtime is not guaranteed, nor always offered. I'm currently working the overtime when it's allowed, so that way I can compensate for paying for the medical and paying for child support. It is definitely not guaranteed. So it does look as if my salary doubled, but it's due to me voluntarily trying to stay here and put more work in.
Okay, did that person explain to you that overtime is a part of the wages that we look at for calculating child support?
I see that, but tomorrow my company could say no more overtime the rest of the year. So it's highly inaccurate.
Okay, well, again, sir, I keep having to tell folks that talk to your state legislature because again, they said I have to include overtime. In fact, I'm supposed to look at what you've earned over the last 12 months as some type of indication of what you look at that you would be earning over the next 12 months. It's just what the law requires, sir. Again, there's no guarantee about tomorrow, but the past is carved in stone. So that's the standard. Sorry. Anyway, I'll let the state proceed with questioning at this time.
It's fine. I understand. I have to share my success.
State may continue. Thank you.
Are you still providing for the children, I guess, their band activities?
There's several things. If asked to pay half on anything, I have no issues. I've been keeping track through Cash App. There's been $1,800 and something extra dollars that I try to distribute to help out with the girls when necessary with band supplies or anything to do with senior year for my daughter, the oldest. I have no issue helping when asked or when it's brought to my attention.
Are you still exercising possession in excess of your normal standard possession order?
Jolyn still comes with me for normal visitation and stuff. Jordan currently works. She works a lot outside of high school. It's been very hard to get to spend time with her because she works almost every weekend. She's more welcome to come out when she has free time, but I think she's a workaholic.
Sounds like her dad. Is there anything else that you'd like the court to consider today, as far as, reasons for deviating?
I would like to try to meet on common ground. 584 extra that I asked her. I said, hey, I get really good insurance at work. I'd really like to take on that responsibility, and that way it would mitigate her cost at work for herself. And we were in agreement that I would take it on in open enrollment in November. I would really like that to be considered. And I know it's saying I make that much money, but at any time that could go down. I get it. That's law, state. I get it. But $1,700 would hurt me really, really bad.
The mother says she said she'll agree to starting the child support at the amount for one child, and that's $1,300 and some change. So,
sir, may I? If I would like to, I mean, it's not a counter, but I don't see why I couldn't pay the $584 in medical cost until they're 26 years old, which is not a requirement by your court, but I'm volunteering to do that, and go from $750, which I'm currently paying, to $1,000 a month, and that would help her out because she's not paying insurance anymore. It would increase her child support, and it wouldn't put me in a hardship at my own home. My wife is currently not employed. She had an injury at work, and we have an entire case going on trying to get Department of Labor to pay her for her workers' comp claim, and it's wrapped up in all kinds of just a disaster right now. So I'm the only income in my house right now.
Yes, sir. I got at I keep saying this too, the master math, and right now, the health. I'm sorry. This has been going on a while. The mom's got the health insurance, and dad. Who's responsible for health insurance on this case?
Your Honor, in the prior order, the Miss Miller was ordered to provide health insurance. However, I think perhaps due to out-of-pocket costs, or but the fact that Mr. Stegel has been covering the children, they're asking to switch it to Mr. Stegel's insurance. And the calculations based on Mr. Stegel's testimony is that the health insurance for just the two kids is $333.76 per month instead of the $580.66, and the dental credit would be $55.60 based on the same math of subtracting out the spouse plus the individual person, dividing by the children covered, and then multiplying by 2 since there are 2 children in this case.
And he's been given credit with those amounts against the current child support, correct?
Your Honor, he was ordered to pay in the prior order because Miss Miller was the one that was doing the health insurance. If he was given credit for those amounts, and I believe there's a
Okay. I'm sorry. Stop. Under the current order, the order going forward, who's obligated to pay cover the health insurance?
Miss Miller.
Okay. All right. Sorry. Didn't. That's why you lost me on that for a second, man. All right, then. Well, then since okay, well, since those are the circumstances, then obviously he's not entitled to credit based on that, unless there's going to be a change. But I'll let you continue with the testimony. And but right now, as part of the open, I didn't get that we were changing health insurance on the dental, correct?
We were changing health insurance and dental, Your Honor. They were going from Miss Miller to Mr. Stegel.
Okay, all right. Sorry, I thought you said they were staying with Miss Miller as far as the health insurance is concerned. Okay, I'm sorry. So that was my original question. So based on the new amounts, he is getting credit for the health insurance that he now has to cover, correct?
Your Honor, I had to recalculate that based on testimony. I believe his credit was
500 and some change, and now you've done
now,
it properly, the pro rata correct share, right? Okay.
Yes. So if it were 2 children in the case, it would be $1,794 in child support, and then 1 child, if parties were willing to agree to just start it at that amount, is $1,435.
Sorry, what's the first amount again? 1,007? What was the original amount with 2 children?
1,794.
Okay. And the second amount?
1,435.
That's what the correct pro rata amounts given to dad. All right. All right, you may proceed with questions. Thank you.
No further questions, Your Honor.
All right, then. I'm going to go ahead and let dad proceed. The state has recalculated, sir. Again, it appears that they were using the entire amount of cash medical, health insurance payments, and the entire amount dealing with the dental, but they needed to be prorated out based on the number of people that were covered by it, and based on the number of people covered by those insurance packages. The current child support would be $1,784 with 2 kids in, and with 1 child remaining, that'd be $1,435 starting the first day of September. And we'll go back to mom here in a moment to see what she's willing to agree to one way or the other. But again, sir, keep in mind, she does not have to agree to deviation. The guideline supports are what the legislature says I'm supposed to order. And again, unless there's a legal reason for me to deviate, I have to go with what the legislature ordered. Anyway, I'll let you add anything else, sir, you think that you wanted to say as far as what you're requesting the court to do here, and we're going to go back to the mom and get a reconfirmation of what she would like to have done under the standard order amounts for the two different 2 kids and then 1 child in. Thank you.
I would just like the court to please acknowledge and consider that I did start paying this in January 1st, 2024. That's when the new plan started for the children. So they are current on it. It's not something I have to enact or ask for here at work. I've already had it taken care of. And it is current since January 1st.
Okay. And I'll have the state re-ask some questions with the mom and see when they and see whether or not when they were taking off her insurance and whether or not that coincides with when you had them put on. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Ms. Hubbard, please recall Ms. Miller and get her input on the new amounts and confirmation of about the health insurance switching over.
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Miller, are the children still covered on your insurance through work?
No, ma'am.
When did that coverage end?
January 1st of this year.
Was that because you and Mr. Stegel agreed for the health insurance to change?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So prior to this, he was ordered to pay you $160 each month for medical coverage through your work?
Correct.
And $50 for dental coverage through your work?
Yes.
Okay. And that has been going on since January 1st, you said, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that is a $210 cost each. Your Honor, at this time, I'd like to introduce into evidence State's Exhibit 1, which is a pay record for Mr. Stegel.
I have a pay record. Let me see if someone is going to mark. 5924. Yep, this has got to be it. All right, folks, this is State's Exhibit number 1. This is the financial activity report in your case. It shows what funds have been paid for child support and cash medical through the state disbursement unit in your case. Is there any legal reason, Ms. Miller, this shouldn't come in evidence before the court this time?
No.
Great. Mr. Stegel, any reason, sir?
No, sir.
All right, State's one's admitted. You may proceed.
Your Honor, the state has calculated at $210 a month that Mr. Stegel was supposed to pay Ms. Miller for the insurance during the months between January and May, a credit of $1,050. However, there are some arrears in this case that, for whatever reason, the withholding from Mr. Stegel's job was not covering the full amount. So I just posit to the court that those are the amounts we're dealing with.
Ma'am, may I?
Okay, sir, go ahead, please.
I started paying in January the $268 per pay period. So January, February, March, and April, and 4 months worth. So there should be some kind of offset in that.
All right, I'm looking at it there. Well, starting January, there was about the last day of December. It shows, sir, that you were okay. It starts. Looks like it was $528 owed total in both child support and cash medical. That may have just been a rounding error or the money coming in every 2 weeks or some factor like that. But it is what it is. What I need to know is again, ma'am, the state has had to redo the calcs. We apologize for the situation dealing with what we thought the amounts were going to be, but the amounts of credit given were not prorated, were not prorated, ma'am, based on the number of people that were actually on the policy. It was the entire amount. So again, the child support amount is back to my docket sheet. $1,784 for one child, $1,435 starting in September for the other child. What amount are you requesting, or as far as this is concerned, ma'am? And again, you can ask the court to order based on the entire balance for both kids going forward from the first of the month until it switches over in September. But it's left up to you. It's left up to you what you may want to do one way or the other. Yeah, but you're not mandated to do anything, ma'am. So what are you asking the court to do?
What, with back money? I mean,
No. There's no back money, ma'am.
Yeah, I don't know what you're asking.
Your Honor, there are arrears on this case.
Okay, where am I missing that? Because again,
As of April 30th, there were $23 in arrears on medical support and $196.81 on dental support.
okay.
I see that because he's paid child support. It comes out of his check. We've not ever had an issue with it. I'm not getting it. So I don't know if that's just the way that they were taking it out or what, but I never thought he was in arrears.
Well, ma'am, again, I can zero those out as of April the 30th. That's not a problem. I'll give him credit for some of the things he's done one way or the other based on the what he's been doing extra that's not showing up on that sheet. But while I'm looking at it, it's going forward as far as what the current child support is going to be for both the kids. Again, it's different when the oldest child emancipates in August. It's going to go down, and and before I was telling you, we were telling you it was $1,100 and some change. Well, it looks like it's technically $1,400 in child support starting the 1st of September, and a little bit above $1,400. So what are you requesting the court to do as far as ordering child support in this case, there, ma'am? Full amount, a different amount, what, please?
I mean, I thought we were just going to agree to the one with one child.
Okay, that amount is $1,400, ma'am, and 1,400 what?
$1,435, Your Honor.
All right, I'm taking a recess minute, folks. I need to relook at everything in here because I'm now a little confused too. So anyway, court's gonna take a 10-minute break. We're off the record. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's get everybody back on the record on this. Sorry, I had to whip out my calculator. Yeah. All right, we're now back on the record on Cordell County College number DC-16-44,604 in the Stegel matter. Anyway, the court wanted to go off the record for a moment to relook at the notes again and get this one a little bit back on track. All right, the court, I want to note that originally we were looking at calculations based on some information regarding the father's health insurance costs and dental insurance costs, and that was not prorated. Originally, the court had down the amount for current child support based on the request of the state at $1,707. And I didn't write down the amount for when the oldest child emancipates at the age of 18 in this coming August, but it was $1,300 and some change, $1,300. What was that $1,300 amount, Ms. Hubbard, that you had originally?
$1,366, Your Honor.
Okay, I got 1,360. All right, so it was 1,366. Anyway, upon the new calculations based on giving prorating out the health insurance and the medical insurance, the child support amounts should, as ordered based on those calculations, are $1,784 for 2 children, and then
$1,794.
94. Sorry, 94. Sorry about that. 94. And when it goes down to 1 child, that's 1,435. Is that correct, Ms. Hubbard?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Prior to this, the mother did agree that she would start the child support instead of at the 1,707, would agree to the 1,366, right?
Correct, Your Honor.
All right. But now, like I said, that's gone up about $66, $65, $70. So, all right, now that the medical insurance has been given proper credit, prorating for dad's family and other members on the health insurance and everything, those are the 2 child support amounts we are looking at are $1,794 for 2 children, and then goes down to $1,435 for the 1 child after the oldest child emancipates. So that's the math on this case, folks, 100%. Now, as far as the child support going forward, the father has been paying the health insurance since before it was court ordered, the exchange over. And if I give him credit for that, anything that is owed goes down to 0. So it's wiped out as far as any type of cash medical that is owed, any type of dental that is owed going forward. That would be wiped out with a couple $100 left over on top of that. But the bottom line is, can't go into the negative on that, so only the positive, and it will wipe it out to 0. And so at this time, Mr. Stegel and Ms. Miller, those are what I'm looking at are the 2 child support amounts and the cash medical amounts. And again, the proper child support amount is the $1,794 and $1,435. Ma'am, based on those, and I'm going to come to you in a moment, sir. Based on originally you said you would live with the 1366. Technically, that should have been 1435. Is that the amount you're willing to live with at this time, ma'am, or as far as just going forward with the as the oldest child is emancipated, or you want the court to do something different, or do you want the court to do include both amounts and just let it fall as per the family code says?
I'm fine to say what we discussed before.
But the 1366 or the 1435, ma'am?
1366.
All right, thank you. All right, then the court that's not that's a slight deviation downward, not by much, but it is, and it's well within the guidelines for a slight deviation down in this we're dealing with less than 3%. So yeah, that's easy. Now, Mr. Stegel, that's the math. Mom's still willing to go with the 1366, and that will start the first day of June. We're in May now. And that's about 3% off of guidelines, but again, that's doable in this circumstance. It's easy. So again, that's the amount that I'll be looking at in order going forward, sir. What else? What would you be asking the court to do under these circumstances, sir?
You were texting while you took a recess, sir, and she was willing to go to $1,200 because I'm covering insurance.
Well, sir, you've already been credited for that under the Texas under the criteria that the law requires me to give you credit for insurance on, sir.
I'm just telling you the conversation her and I had while you was in recess, sir.
Your Honor, the state's not willing to agree to a deviation.
I know, and y'all really shouldn't have been done that outside the purview of the state. I know y'all can do what you need to do. All right, I'm gonna find, sir, that's not in your child's best interest, and I'm gonna order guideline child support. I get to do this. I get to do these kind of things. So I'll go with the 1366. I'll go with it starting next month, but that's as far as I'm willing to go with, sir. And that's the court's decision. You have the absolute right to appeal me. You have the absolute right to de novo me, but that's what I'm going with at this time. Anything else?
When can I have my next review?
You asked me for legal advice, sir, but technically you could look at these things every 3 years. But every 3 years, sir. All right, is there anything else? I'll start with you, Ms. Miller, again. I'm going to find it's in your child's best interest that I do go ahead and grant the prior amount. It's already a deviation. I understand y'all agreed to a few $166 less, but I'm going to find that that's not appropriate and in your child's best interest. And as a judge, I can do that. And I'm going to grant the original deviation support down to $1,366. I'll go ahead and start that the first day of June instead of the first day of September, and that's obviously you were entitled to almost well over $1,000 more during that time frame. But I'm feeling that's a deviation of enough based on these circumstances. And I'll start with you, ma'am. Any other questions? Anything else, please?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Stegel. Any other questions? Anything else, sir?
No, sir.
Anything else from the state?
Your Honor, do you want to waive court costs?
Oh, yeah, I'll wait court costs. The gentleman was up to date on his child support. That's not a problem.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, folks, court costs are waived and the modification is granted at the, as ruled upon by the state, by the court as far as child support and cash medical child support is concerned, and everything else is per the agreement. And we're off the record.
They like their father right now, and I don't know why. I think it's strictly manipulation by my daughter.
Mr. Holder, do you have a relationship with your daughter?
Not much of one, no. It's basically a text here and there.
Have you made derogatory comments to your daughter regarding her same-sex relationship?